Many of our ladies out here, when they're out here on these platforms, on these panel discussions, or even in real life, not everything that they're saying about us is off. They're dealing with us, and they're dealing with a large population of son husbands. And I will absolutely admit that son husbands, the affliction of it can range from mild to severe. One of the most detrimental things that a mother can do for her son is to turn him into a son husband. You will make that man no good for anybody. No good for a company, no good for a job, really no good for you, and damn sure no good for any other woman. And then we got about 2 generations of son husbands out here reproducing. They're out here, think about that. And our women are out here, to a degree, screaming that there are not enough fit black men to lead. Now, do I believe that in totality? No, I do not. But what I do believe is that we got way too many of them in our midst, and they're no good for anybody. They ruin. There are men, when you, and this is going to lead me to Shannon Sharp, when you find a man of means, of stature, that seems to be like a man's man, when you see that and he's 50 years old and he's never had a wife, he's never been married, there could be some truth that he just didn't, want to, but there is a huge possibility that you are dealing with a man whose priorities in relation to his mother is out of order. I was raised by my grandmother. Cannot knock the job that she did. Cannot knock the fact that she did it. Don't owe her anything. And that's the other thing. A lot of our moms will they put this undue burden on their male children as if we owe them something for raising us. That was your job. I don't owe you anything. But when you create a son husband, it creates this anxiety within that boy who becomes a man, to always protect and provide for you. He cannot sleep, function, or go about his day without worrying about you and your need. And then some of you go out of your way to interfere and sabotage their relationships with the women that they're supposed to be with. I'm going to play a clip from Shannon Sharp's podcast that struck a nerve with me, and we're going to get back, and then we're going to cook on that.
First, I was a terrible parent. I was, because I was so. It drove me crazy, because all I thought about was football. That's all I thought about. How could I get better? Some kid is in high school want my job. Some kid in college want my job.
Right.
From the time I was about 11 or 12, when I really thought about going to the NFL, that's all I thought about. It consumed me. And I ruined relationships. No question about it, Ocho. I should have been married. No question in my mind.
Did you guys hear what Shannon Sharp said? I ruined relationships. I should have been married. No question in my mind. But he's blaming it on his drive for football. In just a few seconds, the truth. He will reveal the truth.
Now there we go. We getting somewhere now.
I could have been,
we getting somewhere.
married, but But this is what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, I'm going to bring this up, guys. Hold on a second. Look at Shannon Sharp's face. He's thinking, he's remembering, he's analyzing, he's tapping into something. Shannon Sharp, whether he realizes it or not, Shannon Sharp is a son husband. Shannon Sharp wasn't raised with his mother. I believe she passed early. She was raised by his grandmother, like I did. This is why I identify with this clip.
Broke people, men, will lie to impress a woman. A rich man will lie to test a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go broke chasing women, but you won't lose a woman chasing money.
Right.
So I had to balance that out.
Right. I like that. I like.
That's not true with him. I'm telling you what he's doing right now. He's searching and searching and searching and searching for the excuse. He knows he should have been married by now. Shannon Sharp has a couple kids. He knows he should be married by now. Keep listening.
Yeah.
But the most important woman that for me was married.
It didn't freeze. I just wanted to rewind up. I'm gearing up. Come on.
Men will lie to impress a woman.
Mm.
A rich man will lie to test a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go broke chasing women, but you won't lose a woman chasing money.
Right.
So I had to balance that out.
Right. I like that. I like that.
But the most important woman that for me was Mary Porter.
Bang! Bang! It's good!
Who's Mary Porter?
That was the most important. Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else mattered. Shannon Sharp blamed the football career. He blamed being broke. He blamed having money. And if he would have kept going, he would have blamed it on the rain.
Blame it on the rain.
He said out of his own mouth, the most important woman in his life was Mary Porter. That's the most important woman in his life. Ain't that what he said?
Yeah!
Was the most important woman in his life. Who is Mary Porter?
Was Mary Porter. That was the most important. Nothing else mattered. Nothing mattered.
How many times he gonna tell you nothing mattered?
Damn!
Nothing mattered. Nothing or no one else mattered other than Mary Porter.
Hell no! To the no! Hell to the...
That's the only thing that mattered to him was Mary Porter.
So when people see anybody that you can go back and ask anybody, they'll tell you point blank, the most important thing to Shannon Sharp has always been his grandmother.
He said football. He said being broke. He said having money. He said balancing those two things. He gave an analogy about a rich man will use money to test a woman, a broke man. He went through all of those things as an excuse as to why he wasn't married. Those are all reasons why he wasn't married. But if you just sit and listen a little bit, he came out. What he was doing when I showed you what he was looking, he was going down memory lane and he was thinking about
Took me way back down memory lane.
That's what he was doing. Mary Porter was the most important woman. No, he said most important thing, didn't he? Did he say most important thing? Let me listen to that.
Nothing else mattered. Nothing mattered. So when people see anybody that you can go back and ask anybody, they'll tell you point blank, the most important thing that Shannon Sharpe has always been his grandmother.
Damn.
To get her out of that environment, to get her out of that leaky house, to get her into some indoor plumbing, to get her into central heating and cooling. That was it. To see.
That was it. And he's talking about this with a profound sense of pride. And he's talking about, and as he's talking about it, he's really, if you watch him, his chest puff up, his shoulders go brow, watch the veins in his neck pop out. He's reliving the feeling and the desperation to save Mary Porter. No, he said nothing was more important to him than Mary Porter. That is why Shannon Sharpe could not be a husband to anyone, because Mary Porter was the woman of his life. Do you know how many women are with men or interested in men of his caliber, or just even a regular old brother that has good character and good bones about him? Not like physical bones, but you know, how he is as a man. But the most important woman in his life is his mother or his grandmother. How in the world is some woman supposed to compete with that? Whether Mary Porter intention or not, she created a son husband in Shannon Sharpe. No woman can compete with that. And the reason why this resonated with me so much is because I understand intimately the anxiety about making sure the woman who raised you is okay. I was raised by my grandmother. But I promise you right now, no other woman has to worry about her order with me, where she is in the pecking order. She's it. Yes, I still have the same anxieties about making sure she's taken care of, making sure that she's getting what she needs, making sure she's surviving. And yes, this is the thing that she was supposed to do, have with her husband at this stage of her life. But too many men can't focus where they need to be because they're too busy worried about their mothers. Now, Mary Porter's husband, Mary Porter was married to Shannon Sharpe's grandfather, who he talks about just as much. Mary Porter was with her husband until the day he died. So this wasn't a situation where Shannon Sharpe was a quote unquote raised by a single mother. That's not what happened with him. But the sentiment is still the same, and the impact is still the same. His grandfather died when he was, I think, about to go to college or somewhere around there. I can't really remember. But the sentiment is there. Shannon Sharpe can't do nothing with nobody because Mary Porter is number one. And I guarantee you, Shannon Sharpe has told every woman along the way that Mary Porter was number one. Now, as a woman, us men understand what that fucking feels like. Because we get told all the time that their sons is by another dude is number one. We know what that feels like, being told that on a regular basis, that if I marry you or come into your life or make you or fly you under my flag, that I'm not number one. The hell you mean? But women, they ain't like men. They ain't putting up with that shit. Men go in there, okay, I'll be number 4. You got 4 kids, I'll be 5 on the pecking order. Okay, we'll do that crap. Women ain't doing that crap. I guarantee you, Shannon Sharpe has had multiple conversations with multiple women about them not being number one, and I bet you they told him, well, I can't tolerate that, and he sent them packing over Mary Porter.
You can go back and ask anybody. They'll tell you point blank, the most important thing that Shannon Sharpe has always been his grandmother. To get her out of that environment, to get her out of that leaky house, to get her into some indoor plumbing, to get her into central heating and cooling. That was it. To see my grandmother, one of the greatest, my grandmother go fishing. You know, Ocho, me and my brother would give my grandmother, say, $5,000. And she would still send my sister to the grocery store and put groceries on credit. And she'd have $100 bill. Here, living here, go a piece of money. A piece of money, Granny. You know, that's how old people. That's how old people talk about a piece of money.
Yeah,
she got $5,000. The bill is $100. She sent $25. She sent $50 that she wouldn't pay it off.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. What you mean you never know? You got 2 grandboys that's millionaires. And so that's what drove me, and that's probably why. And so now I'm trying to get to a place where, because now the most important thing that drives me is work.
I mean, I understand. You got to be on your purpose. Your purpose has to be, I get it. So I'm not knocking that altogether. And thank God for Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson. Thank God for Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco hits this man upside his head every stream about him finding somebody. Unc, you need to find somebody. Unc, you can't, this life ain't by yourself. This woman, that woman, Uncle. And Chad is young, he's younger than Shannon by a few years. And it's good. Let me tell you something, fellas. It's good to have a brother around you, a couple brothers around you who sit there and talk to you like that. Whether you do something about it or not. That's a man that got your best interest at heart.